Hello and welcome. On this episode of Abnormal Garage, we prove whether you can do a burnout with a steam engine. The answer is yes, yes you can. No, actually we're steaming on to part 2 of the Ederville 100 Years of Progress. Today we're starting out at the Big Wheel of Progress. I'm not really 100% sure what this actually is. Looks to me like it's some sort of steam or gas powered winch. I'm pretty sure it's steam, but I could be wrong. Either way, this thing is massive. I'm actually more interested in this saw right here. I was trying to picture out how you would use it, how it would be mounted and so forth, but really couldn't come up with it. And here we have an infamous Fairbanks Morris opposed piston 2-stroke diesel. As you can see, the supercharger is driven off the top crankshaft. I believe this one's an air start. If you look through this center trough here, you can see the mechanical fuel injectors. This is a smaller version of what was used in American submarines during World War II, but it is very similar in design. This was a neat looking building, had plenty of vintage signage and old automobiles. Had 2 RC airplanes hanging up in the back. The big one doesn't have an engine. I looked. Can't say I've ever seen a horse-drawn hearse. It's quite nice. Another building full of tractors? No surprise here. I've never seen so many different makes and models of tractors in my life. It was really neat to see. I really like the body style on that one. Wow, that thing's tall. Oh look, a baby Massey Ferguson. I had one of those. He's got every brand but a wheel horse. We might have to change that next year. Maybe we can get a bunch of the wheel horse junkies to show up. So I was having a brief Facebook Messenger conversation with the guy that runs the business that supports this place, Mid-East Railway Service. And he was saying that a large portion of this collection is donated by people as they pass on. I guess it's better than selling them for $1 at a yard sale. Here we have some land speed racing tractors. These things were very famous back at Bonneville back in the days. The current world record for tractor racing is 135 miles an hour. No, as cool as that sounds, actually these are orchard tractors. The special fairings allow them to drive in and around low-hanging trees and not get hung up. Very cool. Look, that one's got a flathead V8 in it. That's cool. Now we're in the second building, completely full of tractors. I think this one has older models, which is kind of interesting because you see different means of cooling and engine placement and so forth. Here's a great example. This one almost looks like a horse buggy with a sideways radiator. All these tractors are equipped with Goodyear's lifetime tire lineup. They discontinued it at some point because they just lasted too long. Here we have another sideways radiator job. Seems to be common back in the early days. This Silver King has a really interesting configuration for its front wheel. This larger model here has like a wind vane type pointer on it. That seemed to be a common theme on that style of tractor. This Plowman 1530 caught my eye. I tried to Google it. Apparently they were made from 1918 to 1920, but they are extremely rare. Now I thought this was interesting, how it has a belt-driven extension shaft for the cooling fan. Here's a throwback to the teens, the 19 teens. This is the second type of display like this, a bridge girder with vintage tractors on it. It's pretty cool. Good news, I don't owe my soul to the general store because they was closed. Roll on. We parked next to this really neat steel caboose. We have a wooden caboose at the Abbey Normal Homestead. Although I think we'd be better off if we had a steel one. It would definitely be easier to repair. Like steam engines? They've got you covered. Here's an entire building full of steam traction engines. Most shows usually have 10 or 15. There's more than that in this one side of this building. Truly impressive. I don't really know that much about these things, and hopefully in the future we'll be getting an education, possibly run one. But wow, this was impressive. Thought I had a big collection. Wow. I don't know when the last time any of these things were ran. So I decided to hop up on this one to see what the view would be like. And it's very obstructed, if you can't tell. It was so obstructed that I couldn't see the yellow sign on the column that says, "Keep your kids off the machines, including the grown ones." We're really going to have to learn how to run one of these. A lot of these shows have a STEAM training class that you can take. We're going to have to try to get into one next year. I think it would be neat. So here's some food for thought. I did some quick Googling to try to figure out what an approximate value on these steam engines is. And I was able to find them anywhere from $40,000 to $120,000, with some even exceeding that. So you could only imagine how much this building's worth. And for that price, I can't imagine that I ever need one. So later. This was cool. This building gave you an exhibit of each industry. This is a grist mill. A lot of milling machines here. A scale in the back. Here's a wine and cider press. Pretty straightforward how that works. Here we have a cotton gin. Not 100% sure actually how that works. Had to watch a video on it. It's pretty interesting. Here's molasses and maple syrup. It looks like that's like a pressing board to get the syrup out. Here's the print shop. Pretty simple how that works. And everybody's favorite, the blacksmith shop. Didn't see a forge here. Here's the bees and meat. Here's quilting. Now I've seen some of those machines in various exhibits over the years. It's pretty neat how they work. Now we move on to woodworking. Looks like they got a lathe, some big saw blades. The cobblers, get your shoes repaired here. Very well outfitted, I must say. Here we are all cruising by all the pulling tractors. The front row seem to have the V8s. These appear to be more stock. I really wanted to see this Massey pull, but every single time it ran, I was otherwise occupied. And now for a couple tractor pulls down the track. Heck yeah! For some reason I thought that one would go first. Good job, man. That looked great. Well, here we are for the fireworks, or for the steam traction engine spark show. This effect is achieved by shoving sawdust in the boiler of these things while under load. Well, that about concludes our video on the Ederville 100 Years of Progress. We hope you like what you saw. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you on the next episode of Abnormal Garage.